One of the things that is interesting is how we as humans tend to over assign more importance to our current state or our current experience than probably what we should. So, if things are going really great, we tend to feel like they're always going to go really great, and this is like super amazing. And if things are rough, we tend to think, wow, this is horrible. It feels like the rest of my life is going to be horrible. And, this is awful. How do I get out of this? I think it can also apply, though, to some of the more mundane stuff, right? So, like, sometimes, like, let's say, like right now, I'm pretty busy. My work, it feels like I'm barely fitting everything into my work week that needs to be fit in. And, so it's easy to, I can feel a little anxious about that or whatever. And I, it helps me some to try to zoom out a little bit on the time frame, right? So it's like, okay, when I approach this task, right, do I approach it with the mindset of like, this is do or die. I must achieve perfection and I must do it in the given time frame and all these, parameters that can kind of create some anxiousness. Or do I zoom out a little bit and say, okay, in a year from now, like this is all just kind of going to be in the general mix of um, what the texture of a year was, right? And in a month from now, it's not going to matter a lot. How shall we say? Not that getting stuff done doesn't matter, not that at all. But just zoom out a little bit and think of like how important is this really relative to the whole? Okay, relative to the bigger picture. And then use that to inform how I prioritize, how much time I put into various projects, and how I serve my customers. One of the things that I have on my to-do list as a recurring to-do, so every once in a while it pops back up again as a reminder, and sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. But basically, this is a technique that Charlie Munger talked about, and I heard it through Alex Hormozy, full disclosure, I guess. But it's this idea of reverse thinking. So it's like, if I wanted to fail at XYZ, how would I do that? And it's like, well, okay. So let's take saving money, for instance. How would I fail at saving money? Okay. I would have no plan for how I'm going to spend it. I would spend it impulsively. I would always spend all of it, reasoning that I would someday get to saving it, on and on and on, right? Those are ideas for how I could fail. How could I fail at retaining a client for the long term? I could have poor communication. I could provide spotty service. I could set expectations poorly at the beginning, and I could charge them a rate that's totally out of line with the market. Okay, those are ideas on how I could fail at retaining clients. So sometimes just stepping back and being like, how could I do the opposite of what I actually want? It kind of brings in clarity. Okay, that's right. Well, look, if I want to retain clients for the long term, and then I need to have a good pricing strategy. I need to provide consistent quality service. I need to have good communication. Like, those sorts of things can be guideposts for how I can actually achieve the goal that I want to achieve. So I think it's kind of an interesting way to reframe something. And sometimes when you reframe it, it helps to kind of shine a light on what's important and what some of the best ways are to succeed at something. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. To main takeaways here, don't get so wrapped up in the nitty gritty that you lose the bigger perspective. And secondly, a great way to get some perspective is to ask, how would I do the opposite of what I want? How could I achieve the opposite of what I want? And then use that to give you pointers on how to achieve what you actually want.